Hello, beautiful people from internet. How are you all doing today? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cyrille. I used to be a stem cell researcher for quite some time, and this is why I can tell you about the science behind skincare ingredient. And for today's, I am going to do something that I didn't do for ages, like literally ages, which is to react to another YouTubers. And I thought that for this time, I am not going to react to someone who is doing his or her routine, but to another type of video, which is myth debunking, especially one from Dr. DRAY that is a very interesting video. And it is also a video that she did really recently that is really like outside of the box. So a couple of words. You probably already know Dr. DRAY. I have to say that our content, even though it is a bit different, because I will never ever talk about medical issues. If you have any medical issues with your skin, please go and consult a dermatologist. Don't come to me. I am not a medical doctor, even though you can call me doctor because I do have a PhD in science. I am not a doctor. Also something else, from time to time, I don't get them very often, but people are telling like, oh, but she is, but not only her, actually, there are other doctors online. And there's always this idea that because you are a doctor, it means that you have better knowledge than someone with a scientific background as myself. And I think this is a big misconception. Remember something, when doctors go to medical school, they learn about medical stuff regarding to skin. So that doesn't mean that all dermatologists don't know about skincare, but most of them, and also with my experience and with your own experience, because I have so many of you that came to me and tell me, oh, I went to a dermatologist to basically have a better looking skin, and guess what? They didn't get it. Of course, if your skin is healthy, by healthy I mean you don't have any acne, any medical issue with your skin, most of the time, most dermatologists are simply not trained to tell you that this skincare routine would be better, and etc. And they also don't review products and etc. There are of course exceptions, like I guess dermatologists that have also specialized themselves into more aesthetics. They are going obviously to know more, or simply also Dr. DRAY. Dr. DRAY, I'm thinking about also Dr. Sam Bending, for example. They have put a lot of work simply at reading the skincare science in a way that is not a medical field. This is something that you need to take into account. Anyway, so the video that I'm going to react today, it's one of the recent, it's not the last one, a recent video from Dr. DRAY where she debunked some myth that is very interesting. I am going to link the video down below, and I highly encourage you to watch this video if you have never watched it, because it's very packed with useful info and etc. I mean, I really love this video, even though I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but this is what we are going to see today. So let's start.
Well, hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be debunking some more skincare myths. Crazy stuff I hear all the time, and just kind of some common misconceptions about skincare ingredients and products. You all really seem to enjoy these videos. These aren't all necessarily myths, but just a lot of things that people I think are misinformed about or just flat out getting wrong. The first is mixing different products together before applying them. I see this all the time, not only in the comments of my videos and Instagram, but also a lot of skincare companies will tell their consumers to just mix a little moisturizer
like drunk elephant
with our moisturizer and put it on to add extra hydration. This is a bad recommendation. It's a bad idea. Why? Active ingredients, like in your different serums and things, they are presumably formulated in that vehicle to go on the skin in an even fashion. If you go mixing in different ingredients with different products, then you can run into an issue where that active ingredient gets patchy in terms of application. It doesn't go on the skin in an even layer. Say for example, you take
Okay, so the first thing that she's talking about is basically do not mix your actives. And I have to say that on this particular point, this is where I disagree. I do think that it all depends on the products, on the active, I should say. So a good example, vitamin C. Vitamin C, like, you know, I've been raving about this one. You don't necessarily have to use this one. Like L-ascorbic acid formulated at 15%. With this one in particular, What we know is that for this active to penetrate the skin, it has to be formulated at a pH below 4. So of course, if you take this one and you mix it, for example, with a very heavy moisturizer, like this one from Purito, which is a beautiful one. This is the Deep Sea Pure Water Cream. This one contains a high amount of emollient. I don't know the concentration, but this is lipids. So L-ascorbic acid, which is a water-based ingredient, is not going to be mixed with this one, and therefore you are also going to mess up the pH. So mixing those two is indeed a bad idea, and you will get a patchy application simply because water doesn't mix with oil. This is as simple as that. So it's important, like for vitamin C, I've already told you this. Hi neighbor, my neighbor is back. Oof. I hope he will behave for the time of this video. Anyway, so yes, with vitamin C, indeed, if you mix it with something that is very emollient, or even with like an hydrating toner, etc., you are going to decrease its efficacy and it will be patchy. However, if you take the example of retinol, and this is where I disagree, the main problem with retinols, it could be this one from Paula Choice, which I love, or simply the one from The Ordinary if you are really on a budget but don't keep it for a long time. You need a tiny bit of them, like a tiny bit, maybe 3 drops to 4 drops at maximum from The Ordinary, and it is 1 pump from the Paula Choice. So it's really a tiny amount. If you want to apply it in an even fashion on your face, with this little amount, it is going to be so difficult. You won't be able to go on the crevices. You won't be able to go like in any like corners, every like little crannies of your skin. It's very important, especially for a retinol-based product, to really spend some time to massage in your skin, because what do you want at the end? You want like a super even coat. However, if you take one of those actives, so your retinol, and then you use another emollient base, so don't use a water base because retinol is liposoluble. Hi dog. You need something emollient. So what I always do, and what I always invite you to do, is to take your retinol. So let's do it with the Ordinary. You take 4 drops, 2, 3, and 4. So it's really a little bit. And then you are going to use your moisturizer. So it could be this one from Purito, the Deep Sea Pure Water Cream that I've talked about. It could be my favorite one. This is what I do most of the time. Oh my god, it's running everywhere, Cyrille. It could be the Cyrille, the Moisture Face Milk. I love this product. It also could be, if you want something like more lightweight, the Oat So Simple. If you live in the United States, or where you live, like for example in South Korea, I also think in Malaysia, but I may be wrong, you can get the one from Crave Beauty. This moisturizer is very lightweight. It's perfect to mix your active. So let's take the Cyrille, my favorite one. Check this one. This is a milk. What I love is that it has a pump, and you do 1, 2, I usually do 3, so it's quite a lot. And then when you are going to mix it, you need to spend some time to mix it. So this is how I do it. I spend some time to really mix it, and I go into town, and then I'm going to apply it on my face, and again I spend some time to massage in the product. This is very important, and in that case you don't get a patchy application because, well, retinol is a lipid base, this contains lipids, so it mixed. This is as simple as that. Another thing that I found also very useful is for those of you who have more oilier skin type or combination skin type. This idea that you don't necessarily need a moisturizer, I tend to disagree with it. I think it's always important to have super moisturized skin, but it is a nightmare to find like a proper hydrating product. So you can play actually with your moisturizer. So for example, you take the Purito one. This one is definitely a moisturizer for more normal to dry skin type. So if you have only skin type of very combination, what you can do is take this moisturizer and you dilute it with a humectant base. So a good example, you dilute it with your hyaluronic acid serum, like the HA5 Rich from Geek and Gorgeous. I like that you will have a lighter emulsion, and you do the exact same technique that I just showed you. You just spend some time, put it on your face, and then you massage it with your fingers to ensure that everything is well blended. Another example, if you want to play with it, is to dilute your moisturizer with a gel base. So for example, the vitamin 3 gel from I'm From, this one also is gorgeous. But if you have very combination skin with different tissue, you dilute it only for your forehead and your nose, and you use the cream pure on your cheeks. You can also do it if you want something even lighter. use, for example, the Course AX, the Green Tea Aqua Soothing Gel Cream. I've also talked about this one. This one is really a beautiful gel, very, very lightweight, if I manage to open it. But as you can see, it's really like this sort of gel. It's very pleasant also to use. It's very fresh. So what you can do is to only use it on your forehead, or you can even experiment. Use the gel only on your T-zone, and then you do like a little mix of your moisturizer with the gel to make it lighter. If you do like a patchy application of those two, it's not a big deal because they don't contain also any active. So, I mean, in my opinion, that the mixing, it all depends on you. Basically on your aim. Oh, before I also forget, and she also talked about it in a video, never ever mix your sunscreen with something. What you can do is to layer your sunscreen, which is different. So you don't take one sunscreen with another one and then you mix it to apply it on your face. I know that, for example, with mineral-based sunscreen, when they have like a very strong white cast, some of you are tempted to mix them with like, I don't know, another one that is tinted, with a little bit of foundation, with like some drops to pigment it. Do not do this. What you can do, however, is to apply first your sunscreen, you wait until it is set. So depending on the sunscreen, it is around 15 to 20 minutes. For the one that are very oily, I would wait a solid 30 minutes. And then on top, if you want to, you can mix, for example, a mineral sunscreen with a little bit of pigment and apply it again, but like that you are sure that you have first a solid layer of sunscreen. But do not mix your sunscreen with something. Please do not do this as your main layer to protect your skin. Don't.
Up titrating the percentage of an active ingredient. This idea that higher has to be better. As with the mixing thing, a lot of this comes from bad marketing, that you need a higher percentage to get results, or that if you're not seeing results at a certain percentage, it must be that you need to go higher. That's not often the case at all. I mean, it's rarely the case. For active ingredients, lower percentages are effective, and they tend to be less irritating. And when it comes to active ingredients, there's a threshold. They're effective within a range of concentrations, but much higher than that, and we know they're no longer effective. The problem is with cosmetic ingredients, cosmeceutical ingredients like green tea extract, niacinamide, I mean, name your favorite ingredient. These dose response curves are not necessarily being done for every single ingredient. And instead,
oh my god, this one is so true. And I mean, I've already talked about it, probably not exactly on this fashion. I did like an Instagram post about it like very recently, which is a big problem in skincare. I think the name of this post was Skincare Science is not black and white, and this is a big problem. So this is definitely coming from a background as a medical doctor. When you are a doctor and you're using drugs, what happens is that there are clinical research behind the drug. Whatever the drug, for Tretinoin, for example, let's take the example of Tretinoin. And there is one type of experiment that is so damn important, which is a dose curve, which means that like this, we know what is the correct concentration and what is the concentration with the most efficacy for most people, and what is also exactly what she says, the thresholds. So let's take the example again of L-ascorbic acid. For L-ascorbic acid, actually, we sort of have it, I say sort of because again, it has not been done in human. The experiments are really well done. It has been done on pig skin. Those experiments were conducted by Dr. Pinel around 2000 and something. And what he has shown is that actually for vitamin C in the skin, the optimal concentration is around 15%. After 20%, you don't get more, but what you get most of the time, exactly like Dr. DRAY says, is irritation, but you don't have like a major impact in terms of antioxidant. With 50%, you can already saturate your skin, so your epidermis with vitamin C. So exactly, more is not always more. This is far from the truth. Most of the time, more equals more irritation, exactly like she says. I have so many of you who also DMs me or send me message on Instagram, also on here, who are always aiming as how can I make my actives even more powerful. In most cases, you really don't need it on a steady base. So basically on your day-to-day basis, unless you have like some very peculiar problem with your skin, like I'm thinking about hyperpigmentation. But in general, in the long run, you do not want to irritate your skin. Please do not. The only moment for me that is fine to sort of irritate your skin in a controlled way is, for example, when you have a lot of hyperpigmentation. You can take like, let's say 3 to up to 6 months on a year when you are really going like to tackle this hyperpigmentation with stronger actives. But frankly, if you really want to get rid of them, I would just go and see a professional doctor. Please do not see someone that is not a doctor. I would go for a doctor that is specialized in aesthetics. In that case, you can also benefit from stronger treatment, stronger pills. It also could be IPL, it could be radiofrequency. I mean, there are a ton of different techniques, but what is important is to find like a gifted doctors to do it. But on the long run, always irritating your skin and pushing the limit is so damn wrong. And I have also the same philosophy with Tretinoin. I don't count how many messages I got from people who are using Tretinoin and tell me, oh Cyrille, I am using Tretinoin, but my skin barrier is so impaired. What can I do to repair it? I've been using it like for 6 months and etc. And people are always pushing because they really want to have like the gold standard, the amazing Tretinoin. But if your skin cannot tolerate it, on the long run, your skin is always inflamed. So this is not a good idea. If you cannot tolerate your Tretinoin, downscale to retinol. Really, with retinol, with the good one, we have also wonderful evidence. But on the long run, having your skin always like inflamed and etc. is not good. And like Dr. DRAY said, there are so many bad marketings about so many ingredients where more is always more. No, more is not always more. For each active ingredient, there are like the perfect dose. Unfortunately, for a lot of them, we don't exactly know the proper concentration. But you know, so my philosophy with like exfoliation, for example, I always prefer to recommend you like a lower concentration, for example, of AHA, and if you need more, you just increase the frequency. But I find it way more easier than just jump in with a super high concentration and basically over exfoliate your skin.
Number 3, and that is that if an ingredient is listed low down on the ingredient list, there's no way the product is effective, that ingredient's not effective in that product. And that's absolutely wrong. A lot of ingredients are really effective at super low percentages. Retinol, for example, is effective at a less than 0.1% strength. So a lot of ingredients are actually pretty effective at low percentage strengths, and being listed low on the ingredient list is not necessarily.
Yes, indeed. It all depends on the concentration of the ingredients. It's always the same thing. But again, always the issue is that we don't have those dose curve response. And also when you are buying a product, most of the time you don't really know what is the percentage of actives. This is why, like for certain actives, I'm thinking about niacinamide, for example. I'm thinking about, of course, retinol, retinaldehyde. I'm thinking about vitamin C, derivatives of vitamin C. I do think that for those ones, it's very important to always know the concentration. But again, it also depends on the product at the end. Let's take an example with a moisturizer. In a moisturizer, the main base, the main component of any moisturizer should be an emollient base to really lock in the water. So depending on the emollient / occlusive, you will have like a different level of potency to prevent water loss. So you know the famous trans-epidermal water loss, and also a blend of humectants to like really attract the water from the product. Those are the main component. But then if a brand wants to take a step further, you can indeed add some other actives, like a very low concentration of retinol, like she said, like at 0.1%, it is still efficient. Under it, I don't think we have like proper data. If there is less than that, why not? I mean, why not? Same thing, using like derivatives, esters of retinol, like retinol palmitate, even at a low concentration. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have them as long as the product is mostly focused on moisturizer. However, if it's sold as an actives, you know, like a retinol serum, for example, and you don't know the concentration, don't even bother. But indeed, the concentration, it all depends on the product. Like peptides, for example, peptides works at a very low concentration. Preservatives in in face cream, like for example, I think it's ethyl hexyl glycerin, which is a very famous one that you find, for example, in the Crave Beauty. This one I think works starting at 0.2%, so very, very low concentration. So it all depends on the active, and also, I mean, tretinoin, it works at 0.025%, a tiny amount, and still it is so potent.
Misconception is that you could use multiple different retinoids to get a better effect. For example, people ask me all the time, I'm using Tretinoin every other night. Should I add in adapalene on my off night? Like, no, there's no point in combining different forms of topical vitamin A.
Oh my god, I get also exactly the same DMs, the same messages about this. Most of the time it's not necessarily with adapalene, but it's tretinoin and retinol. So usually it comes from people who are irritating by tretinoin, so they can only use it like once per week, and they ask me, can I use retinol the other day? And I'm like, exactly like Dr. Dre, no, please don't. The only thing that you may risk is just more irritation, and we already know that they works. Like I've just said before, if you cannot tolerate tretinoin, even with one application per week, your skin is a little bit on the edge, you cannot use any other actives, I mean, your skin is very on the edge, just don't use it and go back to retinol and maybe try it 2 years after it and see if you have built up like a stronger tolerance to retinoids, and then go back with tretinoin. But there is no point, really. They are already like super powerful ingredients. I mean, to give you just an example, we have like studies that has been done on the buttocks, so on your bum where the skin is very thick, on people who are in their 17, who are around 70 years old. Oh my god, my English. And we still have wonderful effect with just 0.4 retinol there. So it's already plenty. Do not always aim like for more and to like piles up your actives. Please do not. In this myth, she also mentioned, but I'm not going to include it in the video, so please go and check and watch her video, because this is really an amazing one. And that is true. If you are tolerating tretinoin, what could happen is that you don't tolerate it on the eye area. And in that case, yes, you can use another retinoids, like simply retinol, like the 0.3, for example, from Polar Choice. Most likely you will be able to tolerate it around your eyes and also on your neck. So in that case, yes, but you don't add them. You use just tretinoin on your face and the retinol on your eye area and on your neck, but you are not like using both of them.
Is that skincare matters. All right, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I think people are putting way too much stock in skincare. You guys, 99% of skincare, modifiable skincare, I'll say, is your lifestyle. Not smoking, eating a balanced diet that includes fruits and vegetables, which are rich in antioxidants, getting your 8 hours of sleep, not getting too much sun exposure, and managing your stress. These things do so much more for your skin than any freaking product on the market, I swear. Then the 1% beyond that is...
So I almost agree with her, like close to 90%, let's put it like this. I think the main product that is for sure will really impact the look of your skin in the future is simply sunscreen. Really. I do think that sunscreen is very, very important for the outermost layer, which is basically your skin. Frankly, on the long run, and this is why I am so crazy with sunscreen. This is why also I always tell you, do not go below SPF 50+, because at the end of the day, the less UVB, the less UVA that goes into your skin, the better in the future. You can buy a ton and a zillion of skincare ingredient, but if you have a very bad diet, if you never sleep, if you are smoking like crazy, of course those things will also have a major impact. And also remember something, in the aging process, just on our face, of course the skin by itself is going to age, but also all the fat that you have behind your skin, like the fat pads, for example, around our eyes all around it, there are fat pads to prevent like the shock and etc. And while we age, all of this become a little bit saggier, and this is why we tend to have like either very hollow eyes, or we have like very puffy eyes that is not coming from fluid or etc. Just like the fat pads have moved. Same thing with the muscles. All the muscles also, they are saggier. This is, I mean, the process of aging. And for those, I would say layers like the muscles and also the lipids, or the fat pads and etc., like the fat layers, I mean, skincare is not going to do anything about those ones. So it's really about your lifestyles, basically. So we always need to remember this. And also, even though it's not exactly remembered to this topic, stop being obsessed by your flaws in a way, because now with all the crazy filters that we have and etc., there is this idea that the skin is completely flawless, no pores and etc., which is not true. We all have pores, and this is completely normal, and we are all in our own skin journey. So this is also something, keep it in mind. Don't obsess too much about it. So I didn't put everything that Dr. Dre told us during her video, because it would have been way too long. So what I really invite you to do is to go and watch a video, because this video is so well done. I really love this video. And just on the personal note, I have to say that I really enjoy right now all her content, because I really find that now she has like spent so much time like studying skincare, that her content is like so good. So definitely check her out. So well, basically that's it for today. Tell me if in the future you want me to do more reacting videos like this. She also has like a new updated version of her routine that is also very interesting, so I could also react to it. Or if you have any other suggestions for me to react to other famous YouTubers, for example. So again, thank you so much for your time, for always being here, for always being so supportive. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you are new, consider to subscribe. Also, don't forget the beautiful bell, because like this you get notified. I have 2 Instagram accounts, one in English and one in French. And well, basically that's it, people. Au revoir.